battlefront, it's sometimes, I don't know how to really even explain it, but just falling to your knees is all that you have the energy and the strength to do. And that's okay, because you're fighting. That's an offensive motion. It's an offensive movement when you pray and when you use it as a weapon, not as a last resort. Two things that I see, they're not in your notes, you want to write them down, that's fine. If not, I guess that's fine too. Two things I think of when it comes to prayer from this text, all right? Just meant to encourage you, meant to uplift you, but also just kind of meant to get you thinking a little bit. If you're constantly praying crisis or deliverance prayers, Israel is constantly praying crisis and deliverance prayers. They're constantly like, save us, save us, save us, get us out of here. We don't want to be here. We don't want to be slaves anymore. We don't want to give half of our stuff to a king. They're constantly praying crisis and deliverance prayers. If you're constantly doing that as well, it may be an indication, not always, but it may be an indication that more prayer is needed before and during the battle. All right, not at the end after everything's done. If you're constantly crying out deliverance, crisis prayers, God save us, it may be, keyword maybe, it may be time to start praying more before and during the battle, instead of at the end crying out for deliverance and hope. Second thing is, and this is with full confession for me, this is one of my weaknesses. A warrior cannot stand if he does not first kneel. A warrior cannot stand if he does not first kneel. See, me personally, and I'll just be completely honest with you, I have this tendency to just take over. Like, I'll just lead the thing. I'll just make the thing happen. I'll just do it. I can just make it happen. I can call the right people. I can put that much time in. I can be in the office. I can do all this stuff. I can just make it happen. Some of you are like that. And I've found that when I make it happen, I'm incredibly stressed. I'm incredibly frustrated. And it doesn't always go the way I want it to go or the way I think it should go. What I've also found, though, is that when I take the time to pray through it, and pray about it, and pray God's blessing on it. Yes, that takes away the time I have to prepare for it, but that's when the Holy Spirit shows up. That's when things happen that I can't make happen. And that's when it's impactful and makes a difference in my life and in others people's lives. And so, men, we can't stand in the gap for our families, for our marriages, for our own personal walks with the Lord, for our churches, if we don't first kneel and take the time to flesh it out in prayer. It's something that I struggle with mightily, I'll admit that to you, is taking the time to pray through it, to be on the offensive before and during the battle instead of afterwards. But we cannot stand if we do not first kneel. So prayer is a weapon. It's not an afterthought. It's not something that we do later or think of at the last minute as a warrior's weapons. Secondly, a warrior uses what comes natural as his weapon. Look, there's a lot of weird weapons in the book of Judges, right? Ehud is a left-handed warrior who uses a dagger, and he straps it under his clothes on his right thigh so that nobody finds him when they pat him down to come in. Everyone's right-handed in that culture, and so everyone checks the left thigh, but no one checks the right thigh. That's how Ehud got his dagger in. Look, verse 31 of chapter 3 says this: After Ehud came Shamgar. I'm going to name my son Shamgar. Sounds like that ShamWow pad or whatever that is. All right, so after Ehud came Shamgar, son of Anath, who struck down 600 Philistines with an ox goad. He too saved Israel. An ox goad is a weird weapon. What it is it's like a stick, like a walking stick size. On one side there's like a dull point, and on the other side there's like a spade or a paddle used to clean off the trowel, not the trowel, but the plow that the oxes pull. All right? Shamgar's a farmer, for Pete's sakes. He's an ox herder farmer. Whatever his occupation is, he uses what comes naturally to him, his ox goad, to slay and deliver Israel, 600 Philistines. Samson's the same way. Samson, in the book of Judges, strongest man because of his hair. God is with him when he has long hair. He uses the jawbone of a donkey, a bone, and he slays 1,000 Philistines, even though he's outnumbered. Ehud chose to be a warrior with what he had. He was left-handed. Some people think that means that he was right hand disabled or right hand crippled. In other words, he had to use his left hand. He could not use his right hand. And instead of him saying, I can't possibly deliver Israel. I can't possibly be used. I can't possibly do this. I'm handicapped. I have an impediment. Ehud says, I'm the warrior. I'm the deliverer. I'm going to do it. Shamgar, instead of saying, I'm just a farmer, like I don't have any weapons, what does he say? I have an ox goad, and with the power of God, I can use that to deliver Israel. Samson can say, I only have the jawbone of a donkey here in the middle of this field, but Samson picks it up, and although he's outnumbered 1,000 to 1, he delivers Israel with the jawbone of a donkey. See, a lot of judges in this book have weird weapons, and they win wars in weird ways, and it's because they use what comes naturally to them. They use what they have, they use what they've been given, and they use what they know. Men, you can be a mighty warrior using your physical talents and your abilities that you've acquired over the span of your life. You can be a mighty warrior using your physical talents and the abilities that you've acquired, because that's what you have. That's what comes naturally to you. That's what you know. This came a little more real to me probably about 2 months ago when my small group and Ron's small group kind of teamed up to remodel a kitchen for somebody in our church. And I'm good with like my hands. I like to work and build things with my hands. I can figure it out, logic puzzles. It's something that I'm good at. It's a natural talent. It's a natural ability. It's something that I've just learned over the course of my life. People have taught me new things. It's just something that I'm good at. But I have this thing where I cannot wait not to have to work with my hands anymore. I'm like, it's so tiring. I'm sick of hauling all of this drywall, like I can't wait not to do it. But when we went to remodel this kitchen, I began to sink into me that the ability to work with my hands, remodel, figure things out, that is a weapon that God has taught me, given me, so that I can reach people for Christ that never will walk in those two doors. That I can reach out and I can show the love of Christ. I can go into all the nations. I can go into my neighborhood and I can do stuff like that. And we can impact people's lives. We can impact their families. We can share Christ's love with them just by remodeling a kitchen, just by painting a wall, just by doing something that comes naturally to me. And so by not trying to be somebody else or do something else or build the whole house, just one little piece of that puzzle, what comes naturally to me, I can fulfill what God has for me, what God wants me to do with that one particular gift. And God just showed me that day that he's like, look, I gave it to you for a reason. And although one day you'll probably be full-time pastor, and you are now, but you're always going to have this ability, and you're always going to have the ability to impact people's lives with that gift. And it's going to be up to you if you choose to fight and use it as a weapon, or if you choose to just set it aside. Men, your natural talents and your natural abilities, the things that you've used and learned and know, those can be weapons in your hands and in the hands of a mighty God if you allow him to use those things that you know and that you've learned. And honestly, it hit me, and I wanted to hit you this morning. I think that some of us, and myself included, need to stop trying to be somebody else. And we need to start focusing on what God has gifted us with. And we need to start trying to be ourselves and use what God's given us. Stop looking to, he has that, he can do that, he knows how to do this, and say, what are my talents? What are my gifts? See, for some of you, it's just your athleticism. Some of you are athletic, and that's a gift. It's a talent that God's given you. Some of you are musically inclined. It's a talent God's given you. Some of you are just gregarious. Some of you, people flock to you, and no one else can figure out why, but it's because you're cool, right? So, you're just gregarious like that. You're like, yeah, everyone likes me. That's fine. Some of you are smart. Some of you are just flat out smart. Some of you get A's and you don't even study. And I struggle to get B's and C's and I study forever. And you're just smart. And you can use that. For some of you, it's just your ability to build. It's your grit and your determination to see a project through to the end. For some of you, it's just the idea that you have a lot of enthusiasm or excitement or energy. Some of you just go 1,000,000 miles an hour and I have no idea how you do it. Because I'm tired and I don't want to do it anymore. And you're just pew, pew, pew. You're like Mantis, ting, 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 ting. And you're done. I don't know. And really, if you think about the video clip, this is what happened with Panda, right? He walks into the room and he sees the Fab Five, is that what it is? Fabulous Five, whatever. And he tries to train, and his master tries to teach him to be like those guys. And they discover that there, in fact, is a level 0. And so, which is awesome. I love the movie, sorry.